Tom was in his office reviewing test data when Paul stepped in. "Mind if I come in for a moment?" Tom looked up and saw a sly, almost mischievous look on Paul's face. "Of course not," Tom answered. "What's on your mind?" With that look on Paul's face, Tom suspected this would be interesting. As Paul entered, the picture of Jesus hanging over Tom's desk drew his attention. Paul felt his grin broaden slightly. Paul closed the door and dropped into a seat. "I think I have an answer," Paul began. "Good. An answer to what?" Tom continued. "An answer to what we can do as the next step of our testing of this technology. In fact, after this, I think we will begin trying to determine how we will publicize our work." "Oh, really? Please share the secret," Tom said anxiously. "We've already determined that going back and changing anything except the immediate past could have disastrous complications that we can't even predict," Paul continued. "Exactly. So I started thinking, what can you do with this technology besides changing the past? Finally, I came up with something," Paul said, and then paused. Tom looked at him impatiently. "Well, spill it." Paul let out a slight laugh and continued. "We use this technology to return and study the past, making certain that we don't accidentally change the course of events." Tom waited for him to continue, not entirely sure where this was going. So far, this was not very exciting. Paul saw that his explanation had not completely taken hold. "There are mysteries that society has been studying for years and still have no answer to. You see, we don't prevent the assassination of President Kennedy. We could send historians back and observe and document it and find out what really happened. Or another option, think how much easier it would be if archaeologists could go back and view the ancient civilization before excavating its current site." By this point, Tom was nodding his understanding, and Paul relaxed a bit, seeing that things were sinking in. "Now for the exciting part. Before we make this public, we go back in time and answer and document one of the most hotly debated topics of all time," Paul explained. "What topic is that?" Tom asked. Paul's grin was now ear to ear at his friend's question. In fact, it was the one question he had needed Tom to ask. Before Paul answered, he theatrically pointed to the wall just above and behind Tom's head. As Tom turned and looked at the picture on the wall, Paul answered, "We go and find out if he really was the Son of God." At this, Tom whipped his head back around and stared at Paul with a complete look of shock on his face.